with Geoff and Bryan. Guys, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
We're here to talk about Geoff, your movie, Frey, and Bryan stars in it. Tell me a little bit about it. Tell me how you came up with the concept and a little bit of the storyline.
Frey's it's a narrative film about a young Marine veteran recently returned from combat, did a number of tours of duty, was injured in the war, and he's readjusting to civilian life. Deal with not only the wounds of war, the psychological and physical wounds, but also the struggle coming back. Societal isolation, trying to find a job in a difficult economy when you've got the injuries, when you've got the disabilities. And it gets into how someone would fall through the cracks, how someone who is smart, strong, all that, could still fall through the cracks due to the effects of war. It was inspired by a family member who went through it. That was my first eye-opening experience with it. And I took some time over the course of the next few years after that happened to meet many others and hear their stories. And I just wanted to try and tell their story in the most effective, visceral, and real way I could. And thanks to Bryan, I think we're able to do that.
Oh, well, perfect segue. I'd say, Bryan, what drew you to the script? I know you got it and you read it, and you came in character and everything. Tell me what drew you. What really caught your imagination?
Well, I mean, as an actor, I think it's a blessing to come across material that it's not even about the size of the role, but a material that moves you and has a strong message. And so when I had the opportunity to do this, I mean, it was the message almost hit you in the face. It was something that I wanted to do and felt I had to do, just to kind of almost be this vehicle to the public and what they go through, because I mean they're the real heroes, and to just be able to portray one and carry that message across, it was an honor and something that I had to do.
And what gave you the idea about coming in character already instead of being there?
We worked on. I mean, we did a short film called Poor, and kind of this is where it kind of first started. So when we turned that short into a feature, it was kind of it was already there. But we did a lot of research. I was able to speak and talk to a lot of veterans, and even up in Oregon, I was able to spend a day at this organization called the Lacey House, and they really help homeless vets, give them a place to live and help them get on their feet and get jobs, and learned a lot. I was grateful for that opportunity.
Right. Go ahead, Geoff.
That was one of my favorite moments. We'd worked on the role quite a bit, and as I like to think I'm a good director, but with this role, there was only so far I felt like I could take it. And so when Bryan spent that day with the Lacey House, meeting these guys who had lived it and hearing their stories, I told them that when I came back to pick him up, I wanted Bryan to have severe PTSD. And they got a smile on their face, but they really opened up to him and let him into their world. And the beauty for me is, he and I were talking about it afterwards, and Bryan said to me, like, I was really excited about this role as an opportunity to challenge myself as an actor and show my abilities. He says, now after meeting them, I just wanted to do their story justice. And to me, that was the transition from when he went from having a good character to really believing in that role. It was a beautiful moment for me, that whole process.
And we had on set, lucky enough again to have some of the Marines on to work with me during the shooting of it. And I mentioned repeatedly to them, I was like, please stop this if I'm not being authentic, because I want to do this justice. It's above and beyond Bryan Kaplan, the actor. I really want to portray you in the best light possible.
How much did your perspective change after you went to Lacey? Was it
Yeah. 180 degrees really. It was, you know, you do as much as you can reading and obviously watching stuff because I never fought and I never was over there. So you're always, your information you're getting through a filter. You know, if you watch a film, you know. So when I had the opportunity to spend some time with the actual vets and to hear their stories and some of the stuff, any horror film just couldn't compare to what they actually did, and it was frightening.
One of the things that he had mentioned is with Niels Rowley, who was one of the guys that he got to spend a lot of time with. He explained to him not only just the experience, but also what was going through his mind at the time. You know, so it wasn't just the usual war stories. This is how I felt my first time under fire.
Yeah, this is how I rationalized things. This is where I was mentally at, you know, a given point, and you're like, you know, you then try to kind of comprehend what that's like, but it was paramount to go through that experience to make this film.
Oh, amazing. You know, Geoff, I know we were talking beforehand, and you were saying that, well, you know, the film, you wanted to give two perspectives. One's from Bryan's character and one from, like, his girlfriend, to enable him to adjust to this the civilian life. Tell me a little bit about that process.
Well, it sounds weird to say it, but I kind of used the girlfriend character as my own perspective. That sounds weird. Marissa Costa plays the girlfriend in the film, Sherry, and they meet. I don't want to give away all the story, but they meet, and they have a beautiful love story. For one, she's got this nurturing sense. She wants to be there for him. She wants to help him become the man that he once was. This happy, you know, jovial guy, and that's, you know, I'm a bleeding heart. I just want everybody to be happy. I have delusions of utopias. And my process of learning through the research, I realized, like, you know, for lack of a better way of saying it, you can't fix something that's broken. And these guys are not who they used to be. In some ways, they're much stronger, and in some ways, they have a lot of things that they will always have to deal with and cope with. And they're not going to be who they were before war. They will never be that person again, and that was a tough lesson for me to learn and accept. And so I wanted to use the Sherry character as that vehicle for the audience to learn with her about Justin. Justin is a very strong man. He's a very quiet man. He doesn't open up to people who haven't been through it. Most vets I've gotten to know do not tell their deepest, darkest experiences to just anybody. And so it's her struggle to get to bond, to have that connection with him, and his refusal or his struggle to open up to her, and that juxtaposition, that dilemma that they have. You know, they're trying to have this relationship, they're trying to have this love, and yet there's this wall keeping them apart. And I wanted people to see that aspect of it too, and except I feel like you know, we all want to help. You know, I have yet to meet anyone. I mean, people may be naive, they may be apathetic, but when push comes to shove, no one wants to see somebody who's gone through combat suffer or struggle. We all want to help, but most of us don't know how. And so it's her struggle to learn how to help, how to be there. So that's where that role came from.
And just to comment on something that you said about veteran not wanting to open up, and it's hard to get them to tell stories. One of the greatest things that happened during this journey of filming was beforehand, and having some of these veterans and Marines that were there to opening up and actually talking to me about their deepest, darkest, you know, secrets and feelings, and that they were willing to share. And on top of it, I was honored that I was allowed to wear dog tag in the film, and I had that with me the entire shoot. So that was something that really touched me because I don't think that happens.
Yeah, he actually, for the dog tags in it, it was actually one of the vets that that helped him find the character and all that. Let him wear his dog tags through the filming, as well as the Marine jacket. But the dog tags in particular, I mean, that's
because it's close to your heart, and it's there, and you're wearing it, and it was just amazing.
Oh, amazing, fantastic. Just a couple more questions. Geoff, what would you like the audience to walk away with from the film at the end? Because I know we talked about, you've gotten so many responses from people who've already screened the film. If you want to let us know what you would like them to walk away with, or the general impression you would like them to walk away with after the film.
I would like them to walk away feeling some level of empathy or understanding. For so many of us, I mean, if it wasn't for my own family connection to it, I would still be oblivious. So many of us, the wars that we've had recently don't really touch many lives directly. It's a very small percentage that are affected, and the ones that are affected are profoundly affected. But for most of us, it hasn't really touched our lives. And so I want this to be something that can help touch them, and in an ideal world, it'll inspire them to get involved in helping so many of the organizations that give opportunities and aid to some of the vets that are struggling or wounded. That's ideal. That's my utopia. At a base level, I just want them to understand, have that level. If they see someone on the street, if they see, they have some stereotype in their head, I want that to dispel the notions they may have and let them understand how someone can fall through the cracks or struggle with the issues that they may be struggling with when they return.
Fantastic. Ryan, it's the same kind of question. When the audience walks out and they've connected with your character, you want them to see what?
Well, I really want them to recognize the real heroes and that are maybe on the street and that you normally pass by. And if you don't, I mean, just if you look at them differently and say, and just because before going into this film, I had no idea what, you're in a very different picture from the outside of what goes on and what happens when they come back and everything is taken care of and it's great, and it's not the case. So I know personally if there's a switch and okay, this is what happens, and at least everyone that sees this film, if they can just have that switch, go on and say, okay, just raise awareness, and I think that alone would go a big way into helping.
Fantastic. And just one last thing for both of you. Film information, social media, personal information, IMDb, all that stuff, please.
Well, definitely, the biggest thing, it's an indie film. Bryan's an amazing actor. He's not A-list in Hollywood. He's not on the Walk of Fame yet. So, we're not getting the big studios behind it. We're not getting that. So, any support the film can get through Facebook fans, just look up Frey Movie. I may have been stupid naming it something that shares a name with a really popular band. So you have to do a search for Frey Movie. but
on Facebook, it's facebook.com.
Frey Movie. Twitter, Frey Movie. Get on there.
FreyMovie.com. You get the point.
Exactly. Follow it. Encourage people to come out to see it. Anything you can do. It's not only. Obviously, it's an important film. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I also think it's a film that you'll enjoy seeing. And so, if you can go to the Facebook, Twitter, follow it, share it, encourage people to come to the theater. Find it on Amazon. Definitely check it out. Exactly. And if you like it, rate it, because as we all know, in the world of Yelp and all that sort of stuff, if it doesn't have a good rating, nobody will watch it. So if you like it, rate it, please, because usually only the trolls rate stuff.
Perfect. Geoff, Ryan, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
And the movie sounds fantastic. Thanks again.